The fourth version of the New Balance Propel didn't work for me at all. They were too stiff, the TPU plate felt like nothing more than a marketing gimmick, and the running experience was just mediocre. A lot of my friends really liked these shoes, and does that mean one of us is wrong? Of course not. When it comes to running shoes, there are so many factors that affect how we feel that what works for one person could be a drawback for another. But New Balance noticed there was a room for improvement, and they addressed some of my concerns in the new edition. And yes, I know it's not because of me, that's just a figure of speech, so quiet down now. Introducing the New Balance Propel V5. Hi, I'm Michał, an amateur runner who's really into running shoes. On this channel I review gear, shoes and cover various running related topics, so if that's something you're into, feel free to subscribe and comment, it really helps reach new people, thanks. Before I share my thoughts on running in the New Balance Propel V5, I need to mention that I received these shoes from New Balance during a running event, but no one had any influence over my opinions here and no one saw this video before you. Let's jump into the specs. The upper is made from a fairly thick material. That's the first noticeable difference compared to the Rebels. A few runs in higher temperatures revealed that this isn't a very breathable upper. Your feet can get pretty warm. The heel counter is slightly reinforced and there's a medium thick layer of soft foam inside. It's quite high, but it didn't bother me during runs. I feel like the word average will be a theme of this review, but oh well. The tongue is also of average thickness. It's not integrated with the upper, it's not gusseted, but it stays in place thanks to the lace loops. One is used by default, the other one can be hooked through the patch with the shoe's name. I recommend doing this as it significantly reduces tongue movement during the runs. The lacing is standard with extra holes for heel lock, but I do have to admit that the laces themselves feel cheap. Still, despite that, they have one big advantage. They are really, really long. This could be a drawback for some, but for those who tie a heel lock, it's really great news. The New Balance Propel V5 provides plenty of room for your foot along the entire length. I didn't have any issues with chafing and my foot didn't slide around. However, it's important to try them on before buying because New Balance has had some sizing issues this year. I had two pairs of Rebel V4, one in size 45 EU and the other in 45.5 EU, and honestly I couldn't tell the difference. Now with the Propels, both sizes were too small for me. Even size 46 didn't give me enough room and I ended up with size 46.5 EU, and that's 1 to 1.5 sizes larger than usual for my running shoes. At this size, everything's fine. The midsole consists of a medium thickness layer of FuelCell foam known for its softness and decent responsiveness. Here, there's an additional TPU plate sandwiched between two layers of foam, which is more about stabilizing the foot than speeding things up. You can even see it on the outside of the shoe here and from the bottom. The stack height is 35 mm at the heel and 29 mm at the forefoot, giving us a 6 mm drop. For shoes in this budget, that's a pretty good, though as shown by the Hoka Rincon 4, you can give a bit more foam, but looking more broadly, the Propels offer medium to high cushioning. The outsole is generously covered with rubber at the front and sides of the heel, so the places most prone to wear. There's quite a bit of rubber too, around 3 mm layer, which certainly impacts the shoe's potential durability, but also some weight. The tread is typical road style, similar to other shoes in the FuelCell line, like the Rebel or Supercomp Trainer. It's not the grippiest tread, but it performs well on hard surfaces or even in light rain. I have some trouble judging the weight of the Propels because I had to go up in size. On the other hand, considering the room inside the shoe, it's pretty standard for me, so I will just compare it to other shoes I run in. A sample size 42 EU weighs 280 grams or 9.8 ounces. In my size, in this case 46.5 EU, it weighs 322 grams or 11.3 ounces. That's quite a lot for training shoes marketed as dynamic. Compared to other models with similar use cases like the Rebels, which are 90 grams or 3.1 ounces lighter, it's a huge difference. On the other hand, they're similar in weight to the Nike Pegasus 41, but I also complained about Pegasus being heavy. How do they feel while running? Let's start with what I liked. The biggest pro of the New Balance Propel V5 is definitely comfort. Running easy in these shoes is simply enjoyable. The foam is soft enough that during slower runs it feels like running in slippers. On the one hand, that's nice, but it performs much worse during faster sessions, and I'll cover that in more detail later. Most of my runs were done in autumn, so the warm upper wasn't an issue and was actually ideal for such weather. I didn't experience any chafing and my foot stayed secure inside. Another positive surprise was how well the Propels performed during longer runs. I expected them to be shoes where 10-15k would be the max, but it turns out even runs at over 20k are doable in them. Of course, I'm still talking about easy runs here. The good sensations aren't limited to short, easy runs, but extend for longer ones as well. What didn't I like? I previously mentioned that the lack of breathability in the upper is a plus in autumn, and it is. But once the weather warms up, that feeling changes 180 degrees. At the end of summer, my feet were practically cooking in these shoes. The colorway didn't help it either. But this is what I got and this is what I'm reviewing. This particular colorway is also the second thing I didn't like. In general, I like black shoes, but these look, I don't know, cheap? Something about the design doesn't work for me, but I can't quite pinpoint what it is. I know there are other colorways available and they look much better in pictures, so maybe I'm just nitpicking. Now, onto faster running in the Propels. These shoes are marketed as versatile with a focus on speed, and I don't know, the dynamics in this model just don't work out for me. While the foam compression during slower runs feels normal, during speed work it would be nice if the foam expanded to help pick up the pace. I just don't feel that here. I also don't feel the benefits of the TPU plate, and I mean both potential benefits for speed and for stability. I know these are neutral shoes, and we shouldn't expect a lot of stability, but with the plate I expected a bit more. Before we fit Propels into a shoe rotation, here's what my ideal rotation would look like if I built it entirely from New Balance shoes. For daily trainers, I'd consider two options depending on what you want from a daily shoe. So New Balance Rebel V4, light, versatile, but more suited for faster training, or New Balance 1080 V14, also versatile but prioritizing comfort. For faster training and shorter races, I'd go with the New Balance Supercomp Pacer V2, great tempo shoes, lightweight, dynamic and definitely worth your attention. Unfortunately, they're not available in Poland, but you can easily get them from places like, I know, Top 4 Running, which offers free EU shipping. For long runs, there are again two options, New Balance Supercomp Trainer V3, with max cushioning and good stability thanks to the carbon plate, or New Balance More V5, comfort and more comfort. Loads of fresh foam, giving you that pillow-like sensations, which is exactly what you want on easy long runs. For race day, the choice is simple, New Balance Supercomp Elite V4, carbon plated race shoes, dynamic yet comfortable. And where would I place the Propels in this rotation? I'd treat them as budget alternatives to the Rebels, so I'd slot them into the daily trainer category. They are not as versatile, but they are also about 30 euros cheaper, officially, though sales can widen the gap. Alright, I told you what I like and what I don't like about the new Propels and where they'd fit in a running shoe rotation. There's one more thing left. Alternatives. The New Balance Propel V5 shoes in official New Balance distribution cost 130 euros. Is that a lot or a little? For what you're getting in return, I think it's a bit too much. So what's worth checking out if not the Propels? First off, I take a look at two German options. First, the Adidas Adizero SL2. They cost the same but are much more versatile and perform great in faster workouts. However, if you're looking for shoes that can also handle longer runs, I'd recommend the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. They are priced the same but definitely worth it. They perform well for both easy runs and faster session, but keep in mind that they are relatively narrow shoes. The last alternative is the Hoka Rincon 4. It's a more balanced option, and its big advantage is that you can often find them on sale. You'll find reviews of all these options on my channel with links in the description. Let's quickly summarize. The new Balance Propel V5 is definitely an upgrade over the previous version, but in my opinion they are still just average shoes at best. They should satisfy beginner runners who focus more on easy runs and occasionally do something faster. There's plenty of cushioning, the comfort is on point, but they lack some dynamics. At the official price of 130 euros, I'd probably look for something else, but if you find the Propels on sale for closer to half that price, then it's definitely worth considering them. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I encourage you to subscribe, like and comment on this video. I'd love to hear what you think about these shoes. Also, check out my Instagram. You'll find all the links in the description. See you in the next video.